Hare Krishna. I wholeheartedly welcome all of you for learning this chapter 15. You are all blessed by Lord Krishna. That is the only reason for continuing this exciting and wonderful journey of understanding Bhagavad-Gita. Without receiving the blessings of Krishna, one cannot go ahead in spiritual life and especially in understanding Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, let us offer the supermost prayer to Krishna and receive his blessings to understand this chapter 15 in an extraordinary way. Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Sri Nithai Gaurang ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to learn about the chapter 15. The title is Purushottama Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. In this chapter, Krishna summarizes or once again explains some important aspects, a few important concepts from a different angle of vision altogether. So Krishna is going to explain these aspects, which we have already learned from different angle of vision. So that we are going to see today. And for our understanding, let us divide chapter 15 into 4 different sections so that we can easily penetrate into these divine concepts. The first section, Krishna explains about the material world and spiritual world from different angle of vision and from a different dimension that we are going to see. And second section, transmigration of soul. So Krishna already explained previously, but once again he is explaining the transmigration of soul. And third section, Krishna is explaining how he is a loving father and maintains everyone. Third section. And fourth section, Krishna is explaining about his supreme position. Krishna is the greatest personality. He is once again explaining his greatest position. These are the 4 important concepts which we learned previously, but Krishna is summarizing from a different angle of vision. That we are going to see. What is the angle of vision? Krishna is going to summarize or explain these things. Open 15.1. The Blessed Lord said, there is a banyan tree which has its roots upward and its branches down, whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Have you seen? There is a banyan tree which has its roots upward. Roots are upward and branches are downward. Where can you find this kind of banyan tree where its roots are upward and branches are downward? Inverted tree. Srila Prabhupada explains that inverted tree we can experience only on the bank of a river or a bank of a water body. A tree is standing and its reflection is there in the water body. So we can see that roots are upward and branches are downward. So Krishna takes this example, there is a banyan tree, roots upward, branches downward, just to explain this material world is a reflection of the spiritual sky. There is a Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha in the spiritual world. And this material world is nothing but a reflection of that spiritual world. We have relationships, father, mother, and friends, so many other things in this world. And originally these relationships exist in connection with Krishna, making Krishna as the center in the spiritual world. In the material world, these relationships exist without Krishna. And in the material world, father and mother are the source of this body, the one which we are seeing. In spiritual world, father and mother or a relationship, just like friendship is a relationship, father mother is also a relationship. It works in completely different dimension, and everything is there in the spiritual world and just reflected, perverted reflected, inverted reflected here, and there is a reality. This is just reflection. So that's what Krishna means. Inverted. There's a banyan tree whose roots upwards and branches are downwards, and leaves are the Vedic hymns, and whoever knows this tree, they are the knower of the Vedas. And Krishna further explains 15.2. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the 3 modes. Means just like a tree also get nourishment from the water, soil and everything. This particular tree get nourishment from the 3 modes. 3 modes, I think last chapter, the Prabhu explained. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. It get nourishment from it, this particular tree. And further Krishna explains, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. We cannot perceive. You can say, where is the tree? When you see with telescope or something else, you see just planetary system and space. Where is the tree? That's why Krishna is saying can't perceive this in this world, real tree. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. Where the real form of the tree exists? In the spiritual world. It is a reflected form. Krishna is saying it exists in this world. And even the reflected form also we can't perceive. But it exists in a different dimension. And the real form cannot be perceived in this world because it is in a spiritual sky. No one can understand where this reflected form, where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. No one can understand where it ends. So, okay, alright, what can be done now? Real form we can't perceive. So what can be done? Krishna further explains. See, but with determination, one must cut down this tree with the weapon of detachment. So Krishna is asking, there is a tree here, we are living in the tree. Krishna is saying, cut off the tree with the weapon of detachment. Detachment means tyaga. So people often get amazed or getting panic by listening the word detachment. So detachment is nothing but getting attached to Krishna, getting attached to the eternity. We are all attached to the temporary things in this world. The more we get attached to the temporary things, the next life also we take birth amidst of temporary things. So Krishna asking to cut with the weapon of detachment. Detachment means attachment to Krishna. Attachment to Krishna is called detachment from this world. That doesn't mean that you have to leave your family, you have to leave your children. No. Krishna is saying, don't get attached to those temporary relationships. We can make Krishna as a center and still perform our activity as a matter of a duty. As a matter of duty. So that is called detachment from the world. And after detachment, what we have to do? That's Krishna is explaining. One must seek that place from which, having once gone, one never returns. And there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything has begun. So Krishna is saying that cut it and we have to go to the one particular place. Once reaching there, you cannot come back. That is the spiritual world. In 8th chapter, Krishna already explained. And we all can say, what is that spiritual world? That's what Krishna is explaining for all of us. 15.6. Natat bhashate surya na shashankuna pavaka yad gatva nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. That is the spiritual world. So Krishna in the 8th chapter explained that aparayamitastvanyam vidyame prakrite param jiva bhutam mahabhava yedadhayam. After that he explained there is one more avyayam is there in the spiritual world. And it was never going to be destroyed. Krishna gave an symbolic 2-3 verses. Once again, he is re-explaining here. Natat bhashite surya, na shashankuna pavaka, yad gatva nivartante tad dhama paramama. He is saying that the abode of mind, the spiritual, is not illuminated by the sun or moon nor by electricity. There is no temporary element. It is self-effulgent. It is self-sustaining. And one who reaches it never returns to this world. The word electricity means the replacement of sun and moon. Suppose sun and moon is not there. So there are bulbs there on top of me. In spiritual world, you don't need all these things. And everything is self-sufficient. That's what Krishna is saying. So you all may ask, why Krishna is asking to cut off this attachment to this world and come back to the spiritual world? Why he was? That's what he is explaining in 7th verse. Mamai vamshu jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasastani indriyani prakritistani karshati. He's saying the living entities in this conditioned world. Conditioned means conditioned by 3 modes or my eternal fragmental parts. Krishna is saying, you are my dear sons. And due to conditioned life, condition means conditioned by 3 modes. They are struggling very hard with 6 senses which include mind. Why 6 senses? Because we take happiness through the senses. We are struggling in this world. And with the mind we are struggling. That's why you can recently see so many suicide cases are there, because they are struggling with the mind. So Krishna is saying, they are struggling, you are struggling. Why are you struggling? Come back. This material world is not a place for a gentleman to live, because it's not your original place. So what kind of struggle? Krishna explains in the 2nd section. What is the 2nd section? The transmigration of soul. The transmigration is the biggest struggle, because we all born and brought up, we have to study and educated, get settled and earn something to maintain the body and die. Once again redo the things. Transmigration of soul is a really great trouble that is explained in the various scriptures. As Krishna explains from different angle of vision. Let's see what it is. The living entity in this world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aroma. So very interesting. In 2nd chapter, Krishna explained how transmigration happened. Just like a person gives up his old dress and wears a new dress. Similarly, Atma leaves his old body and takes new body. I am an Atma. This body is a dress for me. And 8th chapter explains whatever state of being one remembers at the point of death, he attains without fail. Whatever you remember at the point of death. And he's saying that this person carries the conceptions. Conception means I have certain desires, I have certain attachment to this world, and I have certain thoughts. I will carry these thoughts through a subtle body. Just like this body, we have gross body. This is a gross body. And we also saw the mind, intelligence and ego, which is separate from this body. We have subtle body. Within that subtle body, Atma is there. And we carry the subtle body, which subtle body means mind, intelligence means our conceptions, our desires, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions. We'll carry to the next body and we'll continue with the same feelings and emotions and same kind of desires, same kind of inclinations. Just like air carries aroma, Atma carries conceptions. There is the analogy Krishna gave for us to understand. So you are going to struggle further, because with this we struggled in this world. in this life. Because you are carrying same conceptions, you are continuing your struggle. And further Krishna explains, the living entity thus taking another gross body, another body we take, just like this is the human body. If the next body, if I don't use this properly, I take a dog body, another body, and obtains certain type of ear, certain type of tongue, certain type of nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. So mind experience through the senses, and he thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So once again, just like a dog has different sense objects, and a human being has different sense objects. Human being is a body. So once again, continues to enjoy it and carries further that one. This is a struggle. And Krishna says very interesting thing: foolish versus transcendentalist. Who is the foolish? Foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes. So great scientists are there, great advancement is the modern advancement. Even Nobel laureate scientists were there, and extraordinary PhD professors were there in the world now. But transmigration of soul, what kind of body a soul takes after this life, it's a puzzle for them. They can't understand. Krishna says they are foolish. You may be surprised why they are foolish. Why Krishna is saying the most intelligent person in this world doing nice research, they are also considered as a foolish, kept on their category of foolish. Why? So we'll understand a small story. I think previously a devotee may have described to you about the story of Chitraketu, who was almost a great exalted devotee in comparison with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is considered to be the most exalted personality. Exalted personality in connection with the devotional service, the topmost devotee of Lord Krishna or Lord Narayana. And Chitraketu also counted among that particular great personalities, and he has a friendly relation with Lord Shiva also. So that Chitraketu become exalted devotee. Before that, who was he? That we are going to see it. So Chitraketu was a great king and one of the famous kings in the universe, not on the planet Earth. Not only on the planet Earth, he's famous king in the universe. And he has many wives, and unfortunately, he didn't have a child. So he was not so happy at heart, because there's no child, there's no next generation to rule the kingdom. So many days went on, many years went on. On one fine day, Angira Rishi came to his kingdom and he entered his palace also. He's such a great Rishi. Angira Rishi is the son of Lord Brahma. So when he came, he received with a great reception and performed whatever worship to be performed to a saintly person. But Angira Rishi able to make out that he is not fully satisfied at heart, this King Chitraketu. Then he asked King Chitraketu. He knows, but he asked. Then King Chitraketu revealed, I have so many wives, but still I don't have any child with me. Then Angira Rishi understood, okay, all right, we'll perform big yajna and we'll get a child. So they performed and they got the yajna, performed yajna, finished, and they got a parvanna. It's called sweet rice. And he's told that you give this sweet rice to one of your wives and you get a child. And he told one thing: the child which you are going to get is a cause of your tremendous enjoyment, as well as is a cause of your tremendous suffering also. Tremendous enjoyment and tremendous suffering the child is going to cause you. And suddenly he disappeared. So Chitraketu made out, why is he suffering? So he disappeared. Who? Angira Rishi disappeared from the planet, from that place. But anyway, he got great happiness and he took that rice, that parvanna, sweet rice, and offered to his wife, Kritadyuti, and after an year, he got a child, a male child, a son. And because he got a child and his affection got so much increased towards child, he was tremendously enjoying, and entire kingdom was enjoying. And his affection towards that particular wife called Kritadyuti also increased. And gradually his affection towards other wives dwindled. And these co-wives of the Kritadyuti became so much envious that they understood, because of this child, Chitraketu's love and affection for us got reduced. And they become so envious. Envy is the nature of this material world. This becomes so envious that they administered poison to this child secretly, and child was killed by them. So as soon as the news reached to the queen, everybody in the palace started crying, including the co-wives who administered the poison. They also started crying, and King Chitraketu came along with the minister. They also started crying. Everybody were merged into the ocean of suffering. Then Angira Rishi knows this is going to happen and he wants to enlighten. He came initially to enlighten Chitraketu, but he was attached to this material world. He has so many attachments. He was not cutting with the weapon of detachment. Then he came, let us instruct. And this time Angira Rishi came with his brother Narada Muni. So Narada Muni and Angira Rishi are the sons of Lord Brahma. So Narada Muni was decided to instruct, but he saw everybody was merged in the ocean of suffering. Then what Narada Muni did is, when I say they're not going to affect, then the child which was lying dead, so he wants to make the child speak. Then what he did, he called back the soul, which went for transmigration, and the soul entered the body, and child got up and started speaking. And today everybody is surprised, everybody is crying, child is in front, suddenly got surprised, child got up. You can see the picture also, child got up. And Narada asked, my dear child, why you died? See, your parents, they are so much of suffering, your palace mates, they are suffering. Then child asked, who are my parents? Which life parents are they? I have so many parents in the previous lives. Like that, the child, the Atma, he started explaining in the child body about the transmigration of soul and this basic Krishna consciousness philosophy. And after that, once again, child light and Atma went back to its journey. So everybody got surprised and they realized that attachment to this world is the cause of suffering. So later, Chitraketu surrendered to Narada Muni and became an exalted devotee by practicing devotional service. Okay, I told this story for what? Initially, Chitraketu, such a famous king, great king, exalted king in the universe, he was considered as a foolish because he was attachment and he was not able to understand the transmigration of soul. And later, by the association of the saintly person Narada Muni, by the blessings of Narada Muni, he able to understand the transmigration of soul and he became transcendentalist. So even the most intelligent person cannot understand the spiritual subject matters without being blessed by an exalted, self-realized soul like Narada Muni. So we are understanding the spiritual subject matters by the grace of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we are able to understand these subject matters through His grace. So even as I told, even the greatest and exalted personalities in this world, even Nobel laureates, most advanced people are not able to understand the transmigration of soul because they haven't approached a bona fide spiritual master to understand it, and they haven't received the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada or Srila Narada Muni. Until unless a person receives, he remains a foolish because he can't understand the transmigration of soul. And after receiving, he becomes a transcendentalist. That's why Krishna explains in 50.11, the endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, can see everything clearly. But a foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of material nature. This is what Krishna is explaining. To become transcendentalist, we have an opportunity to become transcendentalist. This way Krishna explained the transmigration of soul. We carry these conceptions to the next body also and become a transcendentalist. And let us enter the third section. So Krishna explains how as a loving father he maintains everyone. How as a loving father he maintains everyone. I will narrate a small incident which happened an year ago. A millionaire son, a teenager, suddenly left the home. He's from Vadodara. Vadodara is near Ahmedabad, Gujarat city. In Gujarat, a city in Gujarat, Vadodara. He left Vadodara and caught a train and went to Delhi. From Delhi, he went to Shimla. Nobody knows it. He's a millionaire son. Suddenly, at night, he just left. And they're millionaires, they're very extremely rich, stinkingly rich. The parents were searching vigorously for the child across the Gujarat. Unfortunately, nobody knows that he already in Shimla. In Shimla, this particular guy went to a 5-star hotel and became a servant there and washing the plates. Whatever the customers ate it, and the plates as washed by this particular teenager. And the manager understands that this particular boy doesn't look like a person who washes the plates, because a pampered boy, millionaire boy, his way of conduct and his physical structure obviously different from a person who is a laborer. So he able to understand, ask the credentials, means some identity card. Then he has shown this identity card, Aadhaar card. Then able to figure out this boy is from Vadodara. He called Vadodara police station. There is an area, that particular area police is called. He says such and such person came here and working as a servant, washing the plates, juta plates, unclean plates. So because they're vigorously searching, they understood this is the boy, he was there. And this particular manager called the boy and tried to explain what happened. And the boy understood, parents are going to come. He escaped to Shimla hotel also, that particular hotel, and went somewhere. The parents came, but boy disappeared. Somehow or other, once again, the news became famous in Shimla, and they got the boy and got back to Vadodara. Okay, why I told this incident? Even ordinary parents, just for a few months it happened. This episode is just for 1 or 2 months, not more than that. How much they felt separation from their child and how much they eagerly want their child to come back to them. Similarly, Krishna, as a loving father, how much he wants every one of us to come back to the spiritual sky. How much he was feeling for us. We are here for millions and uncountable number of years, uncountable number of time. So Krishna wants every one of us to go back home, back to Godhead, and to reach his kingdom. That's why he again comes and he sends his representative like Srila Prabhupada. And he comes here, maintains also, out of love. It doesn't mean that he went away. I have no issues. No, he comes here to maintain all of us. How he, as a loving father, he maintains? Let's see. 15.12. Krishna says, the splendor of the sun, and the splendor of the moon, and the splendor of the fire, all this comes from me. Why Krishna called this example? Because sunlight, moonlight, and fire, these are the basic sustenance for all living entities in the universe. The entire universe is sustained by sunlight and moonlight. Without sunlight, we can't exist also. No one exists. And Krishna is saying, I'll become that. Just to give an example, I'll become that and maintain you. And further he's saying, I enter into each planet. By my energy, they stays in orbit. Because we are staying in this planet, Krishna is supplying. I enter. So even the most advanced modern science cannot estimate how each and every planet is staying in the orbit. If Earth goes a little far away from the sun, we become frozen. A little close to sun, we become ablaze. Everything become ablaze. So perfectly it is rotating. And not only Earth, everything is rotating. Krishna is saying, I enter it and maintain it. Because we are there. That's why Krishna come and enter, maintain everything. And Krishna says, by become the moon, thereby supply the juice to all the vegetables. Sun maintains the living entities through photosynthesis process. Because trees, by photosynthesis process, they take advantage of sunlight. Similarly, through the moonlight, vegetables are grown, nourished, juice will be there. So this was discovered by scientists, how moonlight influences the vegetables in 2015. So Krishna told 5000 years ago, and this is there in the Vedic literature from uncountable number of time. So why Vedas are not mythology, they are the real facts. They are the absolute truth. All truths are mentioned here. And further Krishna says, see, not only something, sun and moon, I will come to the planet and maintains you and nourishes the vegetables. And further he is saying, see, I am the fire of digestion in every body, and I am the air of life, outgoing, incoming, by which I digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. Not only something outside, he said, I digest your food so that you can maintain yourself properly. And Krishna further saying, not only outside the sun and moon, not only on the planet, not only the planets, and not only I become digestive fire. And he's saying, Sarvasya chaham hrudisanni vishto matta smutir jnanam apohanam cha vedesya sarve rahameva vedya vedanta vid vedagrit eva chaham. He's saying, I am seated in everyone's heart. Whose heart? Atma's heart. So Krishna is so kind that he wants to maintain us by entering into the heart of an Atma. Just like I am an Atma, is staying in the body. Within my heart, Atma's heart, Krishna is there. Not only Krishna is maintaining this entire body, he is there within the heart of Atma so that he can give remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. We forget sometimes, we remember something, even material or spiritual. Krishna is saying, it comes from me so that I will come stay close with you. And he said, by all the Vedas I am to be known. All Vedas are meant for understanding Krishna. And Krishna is saying, I am the compeller of the Vedas. Originally, Krishna gave these Vedas to everyone. So, I am the compeller of the Vedas. Vedas are not meant for only planet Earth. Vedas are there in entire universe. Entire universe follows Vedas. And Krishna is saying, I am the knower of the Vedas and I am to be known. Out of all the Vedas, you learned Bhagavad-Gita. What to be known? Krishna is to be known. Out of all Vedas, Krishna is to be known. And Krishna is saying, I will come and maintain like this as a loving father. So Krishna is so loving father, he never leaves all of us. It's our responsibility to understand Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna, that for this reason, he again comes and requests, and again he sends his representative like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya and Srila Prabhupada, so that we all get awakened and go back to kingdom of God. That's why Krishna explained all these things. Okay, let us go enter into the 4th section. Krishna initially explains the material world and spiritual world from a different dimension. He says, inverted, perverted reflection. This material world is a perverted reflection. And further explains transmigration of soul. We are all suffering, we are all struggling in this world due to the transmigration. And foolish cannot understand, transcendentalist can understand. Foolish means because they never received the blessing from a self-realized soul, they can never understand. And further Krishna says that I am the loving father who maintains everyone. And the last section Krishna says about his supreme position. He says that I am the greatest personality. Previously Krishna explained, but once again he is clarifying it. Because often people have an idea. The people have an idea that after liberation, after going to kingdom of Godhead, we also become like Krishna. We also become God. So Krishna wants to slash that idea. A living entity can never become God. We are always Atma, infinitesimal. Krishna is always God, Vibhu, infinite. So Krishna wants to slash that idea. Even here or there, I am the greatest personality. Let us see it. Krishna says in 16th verse, there are two classes of beings, means entire beings in the spiritual and material world classified into two, fallible and infallible. In the material world, every entity is called fallible, and in the spiritual world, every entity is called infallible. Infallible means one never falls down. Fallible means one who has already fallen down. So Krishna categorizes all the living entities across spiritual world and unlimited material universes into two, fallible and infallible. And he says, 17th verse, beside these two, fallible and infallible, there is the greatest living personality, the Lord himself, who has entered into these worlds and is maintaining them. Beside these two, means even in the spiritual world also, there are the fallible living entities, infallible living entities, both. Apart from these two, I am there. The greatest personality, Lord himself, he himself, who has entered this world maintaining all them. Further he says, see, because I am the transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible. Krishna is saying I am transcendental both beyond fallible and infallible. Superior to both. Infallible means one who stays in the spiritual sky. Krishna is saying I am superior to even to them. That's why he is slashing the idea. After going to spiritual world, you will become God. That is a nonsense idea. Krishna is slashing that, cutting that idea. No. Even there, I am the transcendental. Because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in this world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. In Vedas, entire Vedas, all Vedas just glorify Krishna. Nothing else. So sometimes people say, Swamiji, Durga is there, Ganesha is there, Shiva is there. They may feel bad when you say Krishna is God. See, every Devata, 33 crore Devatas, they all know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. They know they are the very most dearmost devotee to Krishna. Only in Kali Yuga and we are ignorant, that's all. Because we don't know the simple basic knowledge. Many of us don't know the simple basic knowledge which is given in the Bhagavad-Gita. That is the problem. People doesn't know it. When you refer it, everything is crystal clear. And Krishna further explains, this is interesting, see, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whoever knows Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is to be understood as the knower of everything. So not that how many atoms are there in this, how many electrons are there in this particular molecule, this is not our. Whoever knows Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God, without doubting, 100%, he is considered knower of everything. Until unless a person knows Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is a master of everything and supreme loving father of everyone, he is not knower of everything. And after knowing what he does, he engages in full devotional service. This now already explained 10.8. After knowing everything, I am the source of all spiritual material worlds, the intelligent person worships me. The same thing Krishna is saying, whoever knows me, without doubting, he worships me in full devotional service. And this chapter is a very small, the last verse, 20th verse, you only have 20 verses. What is the 20th verse? This is the most confidential part of Vedic literature. What is the confidential part? Even in the spiritual sky, Krishna remains supreme. And this particular chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Why Purushottama Yoga? Because Krishna again and again it says in the verses, I am Purushottama. I am Purushottama means I am the supreme person. This is the most confidential part of the Vedas. What is the confidential part of the Vedas? Because Krishna remains supreme everywhere. This is the confidential part of the Vedas. And everybody belongs to him. Once again, everybody belongs to him. Even the 33 Guru Devatas belongs to him. They are his loving children. O sinless one, and it disclosed no by me. Whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors know perfection. This is what blessings Krishna gave. Who understand this? 15th chapter. Whoever understands this, they become wise and their endeavors attains perfection. It means endeavors towards spiritual realization. Krishna remains supreme. That's why it's called Purushottama Yoga. Krishna is the greatest personality forever. Whoever knows this is a confidential knowledge. Not that after going to spiritual sky we become God. No, we always remain Krishna's loving children. Okay, let us summarize this chapter. So Krishna initially explains the middle world and spiritual world. Middle world is a perfect reflection of the spiritual world. Spiritual world is reality, and he compares with the banyan tree, inverted banyan tree. And he says he asks us to cut off with a weapon of detachment. And we all loving sons of Krishna, we are struggling in this world. How we are struggling? The transmigration of soul. And we understood who is foolish, who is transcendentalist by the example of Chitraketu, who was blessed by Narada Muni. And third section, we understand Krishna is the loving father of everyone. Everyone. He never leaves anyone. He wants everyone to come back to Godhead. And last section, we understood Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and is the greatest personality. Okay? So thank you very much. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and get intimately connected to Krishna. Meet you again.
Understand what you learned from this chapter by filling a simple form whose link is given in the description. It will make you eligible for receiving the certificate. You can also type all the questions which you have in the same form and we'll answer them through email. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss any updates.